has been with the Fed. Janet Yellen decided that, in her infinite wisdom, that it's the time to go ahead and raise the prime interest rate. Now, if all these terms really are kind of confusing to you, that's okay. I'll break it down real quick for you. I tried to do a live stream feed a few minutes ago, but I think that thing just failed miserably. The audio is just not there. So I'll just do it live. So what the prime interest rate is the interest rate that the Federal Reserve, yes, as in the federal government, charges banks to borrow money on your behalf. So let's take for instance, you decide that you're going to go buy a house. And you say, okay, I need $100,000. And you go into your bank of choice, whether that's Bank of America, Wells Fargo, BB&T, I don't know, any bank that borrows money from the Fed. And you say, okay, I want $100,000. And they come back and they say, okay, great. This is the Fed coming back to your bank, to Wells Fargo, let's say. And they say, okay, well, we will give Joe Schmo a loan. We'll give you a loan to give Joe Schmo a loan. But your interest rate, Wells Fargo, with the Federal Reserve is 3.5%. So what's going to happen is Wells Fargo is going to come back to you and say, well, okay, your interest rate's 4.5% on your mortgage. Wait a minute, what happened? Well, the banks have to make money too. So they raise the interest rate typically about 1%. So it's a big deal in my world whenever the Fed talks about raising their interest rates. As we all are, I guess, some of us are starting to realize the banks don't have it. Well, that was weird. I just got a phone call in the middle of it. Okay, anyway. So the banks really don't have any money inside their banks. They're always getting money from the Fed. They have it like an just-in-time kind of a thing. So bank robbers are really bummed out these days when they go to banks to try to steal money. So everything is predicated upon their ability to borrow money from the Federal Reserve. Now, all this being said, the real estate industry is a pillar in our economy as a nation. And that is why you will see politicians and all sorts of people in the know really work hard to make sure real estate looks great and is doing well. Whenever you see real estate start and take a nosedive, you know our economy is totally screwed. Because the fact of the matter is, if people can't buy a house, they can't sell a house, then there are going to be some jobs lost very quickly. And I'm not just talking about me. I'm not talking about people in my industry. I'm talking about people that, let's say, for instance, build houses. Well, if people can't buy houses, and you don't need to look any further than the 80s to see this going on, when interest rates were, no joke, 12 and 19% to buy a house, there was no need to build a house, because what happened was everybody decided that they wanted to buy a house, but they would go in and do assumable mortgages from the previous owner of the house who had bought the house 10 years ago when interest rates were 6 and 7%. Yeah, it's kind of wild for me to say that interest rates at 6 and 7% are a score. What? Okay, anyway, we've been really spoiled the last few years with all the great interest rates that we've had. Well, what's happened is the folks that run the Fed, the folks that are in the abilities or in the positions where they can control things, have decided to keep that prime lending rate really low. And for that reason it'll spur the real estate market to continue to do what they do best, and that's sell houses and lend loans. So I've been able to obviously do really well because there are tons of people wanting to buy houses because of these really low interest rates. So what's going to happen if the Fed decides to raise the interest rate, which I think they're probably going to do that in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I would assume by tax day, we're going to see interest rates take a hike for at least 0.5%. So if this continues in this fashion, we could literally see by the end of the year, because they usually do it like once a quarter if they're going to raise interest rates. Now, if they get really rambunctious, all bets are off. They could raise interest rates every single month for all I know. But you'll see what they're doing with the prime lending rate every Friday. By the way, that's why your lender, when you go in and talk to them about a loan, they say, well, I can't tell you what the interest rate's going to be until you lock it in, because it raises every Friday. Isn't that sweet? But what they do is they have big meetings if they're going to do any major rate increases, which they do probably every quarter. So if we see this interest rate continue to go up, what we're going to see is a lot of folks that have been trying to time the market will have decided that, you know what, this is the peak of the market. I need to go ahead and sell. So we may see a bunch of houses hit the market. Well, the problem is at that point, nobody can afford them. That's right. If your interest rate goes up, you were set at a certain payment in your head. Say it was $1,200 a month. So you set your mind, okay, I'm gonna buy a $150,000 house. Well, what if the interest rate raises it up so much that a $1,200 a month payment is now a $130,000 house? Where are you gonna come up with the extra 20 grand to keep your payment down $1,200 a month? You're not. So you're either A, going to buy less of a house, or B, get out of the market altogether. So what the feds are saying is that they think, in their infinite wisdom, that our market's strong enough to handle a bump in the rate increase. So what we're experiencing here in Charlotte, North Carolina is an insane seller's market. It's nothing for me to put a house on the market and have a first offer within an hour. One client I just recently closed, and I'm sure you're watching this, Sean and Casey, hello, that we had to put offers on 4 houses, and one of which was 17 offers went in at the same time as ours. Insanity, people. Total insanity. So we're seeing a lot of craziness going on because there's not enough inventory and there are a ton of buyers. And as a result of that, we're getting prices are going through the roof on these houses because there's so much demand. Appraisals are going up. I mean, the whole shebang. So if they raise rates, a couple of things can happen. One of which is like I said, we're going to have people either drop out of the market or buy less of a house altogether. So that will also have another effect on our sellers that are really optimistic about their continued value on their houses. What it'll do is, get through this intersection, hello. What it will do is it will actually depress prices on houses. It'll start lowering the prices of houses because the demand is down. People are not going to want to start, if you can't afford a house at a certain price because the interest rate's gone up too high, then you're going to start looking somewhere else, and everybody's going to drop down a little bit. And as a result of that, people have gotten used to. Let me just tell you this: sellers have gotten used to the fact that they can put a sign in the yard and it's sold within an hour. They're going to find out who the real salesmen are real quick, because the fact of the matter is that price is going to be lowered on everything. It really is, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be by the end of the year. Woohoo! I'm going to scoop up a bargain. Nope, you're not. It's going to be a reset basically in the market. So if you're on the fence and saying, okay, I really want to buy a house. I think this is the time for me to do it. And I'm not doing the used car salesman, fire drill of, I got 15 people looking at that Opal today. I think the guy's going to come back and buy it if you don't buy it beforehand. This is the real deal, folks. This is not a fire drill. If you're looking at buying a house and you're real sensitive on payments, which everybody is. There's nobody who says, you know what, if I have a house payment between, $1,000 and $4,000 a month, I'll be fine. No one has come to me like that. And if anybody knows anybody like that, send them to me, because I'm all school them. But no, everybody's really sensitive on the amount of money that they want to spend per month on a house. And if you want to get in at a lower price, this is the time to do it. Because it's going to take you, before you can actually lock in an interest rate, it's going to take you some period of time. Number one, you've got to be able to get the house that you want. And that's really hard to do because there's so many people wanting to buy a house right now. So you need to plan ahead, plan accordingly. So that was kind of like my talk on the Fed. So obviously, needless to say, all of us that are in the real estate and mortgage industries, we watch what goes on with the Fed like a hawk. It's a big deal. It really, truly is, because this is the heartbeat of our nation's economy. And every time, and just so you know, this is nothing new. This is absolutely nothing new. I've been in real estate. This summer will be 14 years. And I've gone through, 4 presidents? I think 4 elections. And every time we have an election, this happens. So guys, just hang on. This always happens. And it's kind of the situation where the incoming president and his cabinet, they all believe, okay, I think we're good. I think our health is fine. And I'm going to change things. Well, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but they all say, okay, I'm going to change things so it doesn't look like the previous, presidency. So either I'm going to spur the economy with lower interest rates, or I can't remember tax credits. You remember the $7,500 tax credit that came out a few years ago? Whatever it takes, they think, to make the economy do what they want it to do. So if they think it's a very healthy economy, they're going to raise interest rates. Now, I don't want you to start thinking, oh, geez, everything's going to be horrible. And, interest rates are going to be through the roof. I'm not going to be able to buy a house. I'm not going to have any money. Okay, guys, chill out, because it's the inverse of that goes on as well. So if you have mortgage interest rates, lending rates that are going up, you're also going to have your savings accounts. Their interest rates are going to go up too. So you're going to have a little bit of everything going on at once. It's good in one way, it's bad in another. So you just really kind of have to look at it in the sense of what's important to you. So if you're planning on buying a house, I think it's time. It is time for you to get off the fence. Give your real estate professional a call. I would love it to be me, but I know that this feed goes out to all kinds of folks all across the nation and the world. So no matter where you are, get in touch with a realtor. And if you don't have one, message me. Put a message right there. Yeah, say, hello, Kathy, I need help. And I can help you find one in your area if you don't have one. I can also speak to you as far as what my experience has been in my local market. And I cover North and South Carolina. So I've got you covered if you're in the Carolinas, sweetheart. With a sweet tea, we'll sit down, we'll sit a spell and figure it out. So anyway, but not only talk to your realtor, talk to a mortgage lender, talk to your financial planner, and your banker, the people that you trust with your big financial investments. You need to have those people on your team. If you don't have a trusted realtor on your team, when I say a team, it's like for your whole family. I'm talking about your family lawyer, your family doctor, your family dentist, you have to have your family accountant. You have to have people to protect your family through its life cycle. And if you're a single person like I am, hey, you got those people too, no matter what. But you really need to have somebody on your team that is there for you when it comes to the housing market. Somebody that's not just in it to make a buck. And I'm a big fan of Dave Ramsey. And if you don't know who Dave Ramsey is, again, message me and I will school you on who Dave Ramsey is, because he is phenomenal. He will change your world, and he will put you on the right path financially. You might want to look at Financial Peace University. He's a guru. He's awesome. One of the things that Dave talks about quite frequently is finding somebody that's in your life financially, like a realtor, like a lender, folks in those kind of professions that have the heart of a teacher is what he calls them. And that's really what you need to have. Salesmen, they're a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere. You can buy and sell them, 15 days from Sunday. But the fact is that some of us that are in this market, in this industry, we haven't been here for that long without being a consultant and somebody who's going to be in your life for the long haul. Yeah, I mean, we might not be there for everyday occurrences and what have you, but when your family has a transition coming up, when you have a baby, when it's time to downsize, those are the times, forgive me, I'm looking over my shoulder to get on the freeway. Those are the times that you need them to step into your life and help you. And people that are looking out for you, not just looking out for making their own mortgage payment. We're looking for people that are going to be always there for you when you need them. I've gotten phone calls from people at the 11th hour, almost losing their house in foreclosure, freaking out about what to do. I've helped them. I've had people that are, scared to make that first step into their first home, as a newlywed or a single person. I've helped them. And I've also talked people out of buying houses that I don't think it's right for them. When it doesn't make sense financially for you in the long run, that's when I say, okay, enough. You don't need to be doing this. So, that's the kind of personality that you need to look for. Somebody who really listens to you and what you need. So with that being said, I'm just rambled on way too much, but hopefully some of this you found of some use to you in your daily life, and will help you in making some decisions that I know are probably on the radar for a lot of you. So if I can help you in any way, let me know. Give me some messages, some comments going on here, and we'll just start the conversation. And again, let me know what you find most of interest to you, some things that just really kind of make you wonder, some things you don't know, and maybe some things that you just don't feel comfortable asking somebody else, you know, what does this mean exactly? So let me know how I can help. It's a beautiful day here on Lake Norman. I'm actually driving over water right this very second. I turned the phone, but I've got it mounted, so it's kind of a dangerous thing. But anywho, I'm off to go show some houses and enjoy this gorgeous day. See ya.